So Scott, what are you doing?
They say that cruising is nothing but boat repairs in exotic places. So stick around. This week we tackle a stalling Suzuki outboard. So here we have the 6 horsepower Suzuki. Now we bought this when we were in Vero when we first started out cruising. It runs great when you first get it, then eventually it just stalls. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Back to idle and she just stalls right out. So we're going to take the carburetor off this today and clean it out. What happens is the idle jets inside these get clogged up and they stop idling. Now there's the idle circuit which pulls fuel through a jet through the bowl and through below the throttle plate on the transition port that feeds the carburetor. And usually it's either air bleed or that port that gets clogged up. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off today and take a look at what we find and clean it up and get it idling good. We're going to start by pulling the cowling off of this. Now usually I've got a strap around it, a lifting strap, and you can see that hanging down. Pull the cowling off, get that out of the way. And the carburetor is located right here underneath the fuel tank. So we'll be pulling the fuel tank up off the top of this and then pulling this carburetor off right here. This is the linkage, we'll go ahead and pop that off. That's for the choke. Alright. Now I've got a really equipped shop inside the house, but I'm going to use all the tools that normally people would have on their boats. Now you might have an electric impact on your boat which does this quicker. So start by taking off the internal tank, which is over the top of the carburetor, and get that out of the way. I'm going to shut the vent on this so I can let that hang. Go ahead and pull the screws off so I don't lose those. I'm just going to let that hang off to the side here. We got 5/16 it looks like here. We got linkage here. Push-pull linkage. It's going to loosen just the front ones here so the linkage adjustments stay the same. Push those backwards through here and release those. So now the linkage is off. I only did the front screws so the back adjustments would stay the same. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take the fuel line off. Bit of a fuel pop out of there. And it looks like I've got two 5/16 here. It's got the air horn right here, and also they attach the carburetor to the intake manifold. This would be a whole lot easier with a 1/4" drive ratchet than a 5/16. I have relented Okay, so there's the carburetor. We're going to open that up and see what's going on. So there's our carburetor off our 6 horsepower. So what we're going to start with is we're going to go ahead and pull the bowl off this. Nothing in the bowl, and that's a good sign. That's our float. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this bottom jet out of here. That's I've got a bit that fits in here, and got it loose with this right here. We'll go ahead and back that out. We'll set that down right up here, okay? Off to the side. Here's our bowl, there's a carb spacer, and there's the bottom bolt for the bowl. And there's a long jet that goes down inside that carburetor that fits this way. So you can see it fits that way, okay, with the longer part of the flute coming out that way. We're going to clean that out too. And then clean the passage through there. Now there's another set of jets that's located underneath this plate here. So we're going to take out the idle screw right here. A lot of people like to count how many turns it's in, but we're going to end up setting that anyway when we get done. And it's just so wild, this carburetor doesn't have an idle set screw for your fuel mixture, so it's always based on what they calculated. So we're going to have to make sure everything's clean. Take this top plate off. So we get to some air bleed jets that are underneath the bottom of that. We're going to open the throttle like that so we can get this plate out. And then down here is another set of jets. And below that plug there is another set. Not set, but another jet. We'll pull that out too, and that might be for the idle mixture because it goes down to that part of the plate. And there's another one down below that. And I don't think I can get to that. Yeah, I sure can. Get that out and we'll clean down there. And I cannot see daylight through it. That's probably our culprit right there. Nope, no daylight. We'll clean that out. Now, these other jets may be staked into the housing, so I may not be able to get these out. Oh, they're coming. We'll get all the passages clean in this carburetor. Now we're going to keep these segregated. I don't know if they're milled a different size, but I've got the throttle plate forward that way, and I've got this jet over on this side. And this one's not wanting to go. No, she is not wanting to go. I'm going to have to just hope I can get that clean. I'll shoot some cleaner through it, make sure it comes out here. This is the throttle plate here. As you can see, it's got, I don't know if you can see, but it's got the transition ports, and this is your idle fuel mixture for it right here that comes from here. And I'm not sure where it pulls, but I'm pretty sure it's from that guy right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean everything now. I can't get that off, and I'm not going to take a chance of busting this housing trying to get that pin out. I'm not having a problem getting at higher speed, getting fuel, so I'm pretty sure it's just we're getting garbage. But it all comes up through the main jet there. So that's what we have. So let's go ahead and clean those items. Now when you clean these, you want to make sure you hang on to them with this stuff here. You could shoot them across the yard for sure. Ah, nice sound. Little pop there. And we're going to shoot back this way so we make sure all those are clear. Yeah, nice. Set that down. And we'll get this little guy here. Make sure sure my hands are clean. And we can get through here and see we can't get that guy clear. Now that is blocked. This one we got daylight through, so that won't be a problem. Yep, that's not a problem, but that little guy right there, he's blocked. That is a really small opening. Now I should be wearing the gloves for this, but make sure you have eye protection on. I'm using my glasses, which is not great. I got it clear. And now we got daylight. All right. That was probably our culprit right there. I'm going to set that up here by this main jet here, which we're going to clean also. Make sure that's clean. And then we're going to go ahead and blast some of these passages because something got in there and I like how it did, but as you can see, it comes right out by the throttle plate. That's clear. All right. I can see it come out those transition ports. Oh yeah. You can see it coming out the transition ports right there. Yeah, nice and clean. Okay. That stuff will evaporate off. All those jets are clean now. So we'll start reassembly. And that's usually where it is. You get some piece of trash in there and that's all she wrote. So we'll go ahead and get that jet back down inside its hole. Yeah. Drop her down inside there. And what oh, take this micro screwdriver and drop it in there. Make sure that's just snug. And this plug right here goes over the top of that. Set that there. Go ahead and tighten that down. And don't go crazy with this, just snug it. I'm going to take that, and I always like to look at them and make sure that I still got daylight through these. Go ahead and grab this little guy here and set him down in there. Now, to keep it from cross-threading, always spin it backwards first. You'll hear it jump over the thread and make a little click, and then you run it down. Snug it. Okay, looking good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. And remember, this goes this way, so we're going to drop that in there. And this starts here. Now, regular screwdrivers got too much shoulder on it to get down here, so I use one of these little throwaway bits that comes with those little sets of tools you get. Let's just get down inside the hole here. There we go. Now the bowl is clocked so that you can get, when this is on the car and it faces the car, years of doing this, this is set up so that you can drain this bowl while it's still on the outboard in the engine. So it comes off at an angle like that, so you want to make sure this is pointing a direction that you can go and that your rubber gasket's here. Just give that a little snug, and it's got a rubber gasket. There you go. Like I said, don't go nuts here. All right. And then we'll go ahead and put the top plate on. And then we'll put the screws back in. Now start all the screws before you tighten any. Now I've never built this type of carburetor before. Actually gone through it and cleaned it out. And it does not have a mixture screw, which is really interesting. So this is a kind of an all or nothing approach to idle fuel management. But that's Suzuki, and I guess the engineers got it all worked out. I'm going to start it with a little bit high, and then I can back it off once she gets inside, and I get her running. So, get the bolts started. And get the hose into the breather here. It's right there. Start snugging everything up, nice and easy. A lot of plastic and aluminum here. So you don't want to get medieval on this stuff. You just want to snug it up. Make sure everything's lined up before you snug in too tight. Bring them down together. And then just give it a little snug here. All right. Well, we have the linkage right here in front of us. We'll go ahead and put the choke linkage on. Set that in the hole and bring that back and clip it on there. Then we want to get our throttle linkage. Spin those around. That's got a little hole here the cable slides into. So you want to get those in the hole. Like so. And then we'll set both of those back on their mark there, like that. And just carefully snug those up. And that should run your throttle. And we'll go ahead and put the fuel line back on. And we'll put the carburetor, installed fuel tank back on. Get that fuel line back in that clip. Make sure all the fuel lines are in their rattle clips so nothing chafes. Don't want a little outboard fire. And get the old 10mm wrench here. Okay, so I've got the carburetor back on and get everything set. I'm going to go ahead and pull the choke now. Let's pump a little fuel and make sure that the carburetor's full. Set the choke. Bring the throttle up to where it's supposed to be. And as I suspected, it's idling high. We'll come over here and we'll adjust the idle down. And she's idling smooth. Let her warm up. See how she does in gear. Be a lot of water splash in here in a second. There we go. Back to neutral. And there you go. I left the safety clip on the boat. We brought the outboard home. So, as you can see, it's really easy to run now. And just one clogged little jet causes the whole problem. Now that she's warmed up, something you can use and enjoy. So, you know, that way we got something we can get on the boat, get off the boat, idle. Before we were having to just gun it and slide into docks and everything else. So, big improvement. As you can see, with some very basic tools, flat blade. Now, you're going to definitely need a fine tip flat blade. Now, I have the Milwaukee one here. Comes as a set, very affordable. 1/4 inch socket to run this bit to get that main jet out. The 5/16 right here, or 8mm, to attach the carburetor. A fine, this is Phillips, and a number 2 Phillips, a 10mm wrench, a 5/16 wrench, needle nose, and some whatever brand carburetor cleaner I'm not saying any brands, but whatever brand that you are comfortable with, and you know, gloves. I should have been wearing gloves, and I'm sure I'll get all kinds of grief over that, but that's what it takes to do this. Thanks for watching one of our dedicated DIY boat repair videos. Be sure to like and subscribe.